It's a lot to take in. Jeez.
Yeah, it is. I know. This is the tough part in the beginning. I mean, this is what makes and breaks entrepreneurs right here. Good news is if you are an entrepreneur to your core, which you sound like you are, you will make it work. I mean, yeah, I mean, Facebook ads are you know, it's not the golden days for drop shipping when it comes to just the dirt cheap Facebook ads and everything, but it's still, you know, very, very profitable, you know, if done right. But this is why, you know, I promote the white labeling, the private labeling, the added technique like you guys have done with blogging. You know, I promote so much more than just the typical drop shippers route, because that's so limiting, and that's why if you look at big e-commerce brands, they're doing, like, Facebook ads is just one part of what they do. It is not everything, and that's what, you know, most people are doing right now with drop shipping. Is it's either, you know, all Facebook or all influencers. They're not doing blogging. They're not putting in the sweat equity like you guys have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you actually create an inventory held brand, it's going to be worth so much more than, you know, a straight drop shipping brand. Because a drop shipping brand, you're essentially setting up as, you're just, you know, a middleman gateway. That's why any store, I sold a store of mine that I had some inventory of private label products, and it did increase the value quite a bit.
Basically, I'm in the middle of trying to balance working hard and working smarter, and it's like, I'm kind of curious how you handle that, or do you just focus on income producing activities most of the time?
When it comes down to actually what should you be focusing on, yes, focus on the most ROI positive actions, you know, at the beginning. So like right now, you know, I've got multiple projects in the works. My two big things is one, Dropship Fortune 2.0, and then, you know, the other big one is my brick and mortar business. And, you know, I've got a lot of other things, from consultations to different investments, everything like that. I've got a lot going on, but those are the two that take up the majority of my time, because those are the two, both immediate and long term, especially the brick and mortar, you know, what's going to be the most ROI positive for me. So yeah, think of it as an ROI perspective. Because, you know, as entrepreneurs, we have so many different things we could be going into, and that's where you need to kind of guard yourself and guard your time. Because it's easy to, you know, see another business model that you think you'd be good at, and that's where you need to evaluate, is it going to be worth your time going down that route, or is it going to be worth your time doubling down on what you're already good at and, you know, creating more of a vertical line rather than scaling out horizontally, if that makes sense. Do y'all get the difference between vertical and horizontal?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, vertical is within your already performing business. Horizontal would be you actually starting another business model, and you're always going to scale both vertically and horizontally as entrepreneurs, with different investments, everything like that. But typically where you make the big bucks is finding that vertical stream and tripling down on it.
How many books do you read, and when do you find the time to read them?
I used to read more books. Now I read books when I'm traveling, like on a plane or something. I don't have time right now. I'm working, you know, at the office, you know, all day long, and then when I get off, you know, I'm working out for at least an hour minimum. I just don't have time right now to actually be sitting down reading. The only thing I'm reading is if it's, you know, my more micro detailed stuff. The more macro type stuff, like, you know, the Lean Startup or From Good to Great, those type of books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, those type of books, you know, or those are plane rides that I'm reading those. No, you know what? Don't listen to what I just said. I read a book a day, no matter what.
I work full time, along with trying to build my social media marketing agency. The downside to that is the whole client side, like trying to schedule like meetings with clients, trying to jump on calls. It's very difficult with the type of schedule I'm working right now. So pretty much what I'm trying to do is trying to build a long-term business that would have like longevity. I'm not in this to get rich quick. I want something that's going to be sustainable, that once it does become sustainable, I'll be able to expand into like multiple income streams, and then eventually do like passive investing in like real estate and stuff like that. So my whole concern right now is it's the main thing with white labeling for this creative agency that has me working on like hard candy, and it's been really difficult to try to scale my agency, because it seems like I'm spending 90 to 95% of my downtime once I get home from work on this account, and it just doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Right.
So with that agency, they have me working on like hard candy right now, and the ads are now paused because they're waiting to receive payment from them, and then I just have to go back and forth once, like trying to get creatives like approved, ad copy approved, and it's a big mess. It delays a lot of things.
Right.
And I'm just pretty much like on constant calls with this creative agency, with them asking me questions about what we should be doing next, what my suggestions are, stuff like that. And with also the creative agency, they want to give me another account. It's another cosmetic brand, and then they're talking to me about giving me a third account, which is like a fitness, like apparel company, I believe. But the thing is, with these accounts, the pay is so low, and I'm kind of trying to use it as a way to gain experience in e-com.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the direction I was thinking about going in, because right now, since I've been working with this agency, like I was saying, like I just barely have any time to try to get more clients of my own, and I'm kind of like stuck in like one position. I'm barely moving forward, and it even feels like I'm moving backwards working with this agency.
The big thing is, if you want to go the marketing route and more the agency route, it's going to be pretty tough with your schedule. Not saying it can't be done, but it is going to be pretty tough with your schedule being a done-for-you service for kind of the traditional SMMA model, where you go find chiropractors, real estate, all of that, just because of your schedule. Kind of the one that you may be able to pull off would be real estate, since a lot of times the hungry ones work on the weekend. Where you can actually really pull this off is essentially not, there's more brick and mortar places kind of pushing those to the side right now and really going hard in e-com, or even going hard in essentially the whole back end of personal brands. I mean, that's a massive business model right now, both e-com and the back end of personal brands. There's not many agencies out there, and the ones that are out there and doing it well are making a lot of money. So what I would definitely recommend to you is don't pass up on these new clients that this one agency is giving you, because at a minimum, this is resume booster for you. And the reality is, even though it's not a lot of money, you know, in the beginning, you've got to put that sweat equity in. You've got to get those initial results, everything like that, especially for an agency. You've got to have something to prove. So this is perfect for you. Now, if you're talking about, you know, how how to position your time when you get off work. This is where you're probably going to need to sacrifice a bit. So I've been obsessed with working out, you know, since really the beginning of high school, and then went obviously military, fire department. So it's been ingrained in me to work out. But when I really started becoming an entrepreneur, there's about a 9-month period where that was definitely on the back burner. I'd get into the gym when I could, but me working, you know, one full-time job, but then even on my days off, I was working 18-hour days. I just didn't have time, and you know, that's frankly what came first. I know that, you know, maybe you don't need to give that up, but just know that, you know, when you are building a business like this, you know, that is 1 hour to 2 hours of your time that you could be grinding on the business.
So I was just gonna say, pretty much what I was trying to do right now is kind of save up around like 6 months of like my living expenses, just in case, for example, it's really slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
How much longer do you have on that?
I would say another 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to the point that you can leave your job sooner than that, then, you know, I would do that. I mean, this is where it's iffy advice, because, you know, a lot of people would tell you not to do that, but if you are an entrepreneur to your core, and you deep down know you're going to pull this off, and you start getting clients that kind of shows you're heading in the right direction and all that, I personally, I would make that leap of faith. But I also know that I'm good with handling that type of stress and everything. This is just something that you're gonna have to know yourself internally. Are you gonna be able to deal with that? Because it is a whole other ball game when, I mean, take for example, when I left the fire department, you know, the way I am, you know, I'm constantly scaling and growing and everything like that. A lot of people, you know, see that I'm making a lot of money with my e-commerce brands, with consulting, with everything I'm doing. What they don't see is that I'm investing pretty much a lot of the money that's coming in. A lot of what comes in goes out because I'm constantly trying to grow. I've now got a brick and mortar business, all of that. The point is, I have a wife. I have a house, a mortgage, you know, and I've got, you know, pretty big bills and things I have to pay too, that, you know, all the weight's on my shoulders as well. I've got people that I hire, not just VAs, but actual employees, you know, and I have to perform. The thing about an entrepreneur, you are going to have this just massive stress load. If you are going this route, if you're not doing the 4-hour work week thing and you're actually trying to be a CEO, just know you're in for a world of massive stress, but it's very rewarding stress. But from what I can tell, you have the right mindset. It's right now figuring out the micro details to get you to doing this full time. And I would do it. I would do it sooner rather than later. Obviously, you need to be at the point you're making money.
Yeah.
But as soon as you have some consistency, and you know that you're going to be able to pay your bills, I would be out, because I would be 24 hours, 18 hours a day. I would be grinding to make this work.